If you play all the white notes on the piano starting on C, and you go out in order to the next C, we know this as the C major scale. You can also use the correct piano fingering, which gives a group of three: C, D, E, thumb on F, G, A, B, C. The correct right hand fingering is a group of three. The thumb simply and relaxed crosses under and plays a 5-finger position. So now we've defined a C scale, and that can go up, starting with thumb again, another octave. It can really continue up as far as you want to, as long as you reset thumb on any of the C's. C major scale in the right hand, with two groups, a group of three and a group of five. Or if you should choose to do multiple octaves, a group of three and a group of four. Now that repeats again and again, group of three, group of four, until you decide to stop or you run out of keys. That's a C major scale. Regarding modes, modes are types of scales, but the starting and ending notes are different. So let me show you what I mean. We call this the C major scale, and in Greek terminology it could be called an Ionian mode. If I play the same set of notes starting on D, and I'm going to use the same fingering too, shift it up a note. 1, 2, 3, just like before, but now starting on D, and then thumb on G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This mode is called Dorian mode. It's not major and it's not minor. Major would be including sharps, and minor would have a flat and maybe a sharp in it. But the Dorian mode is known for its half step between the second and third note and the sixth and seventh note. So it just so happens the way the keyboard is designed, if I play from D to D on the white notes, it's called the Dorian mode. And it has its own sound. It's a little bit darker than major, but not quite as dark as minor. Moving up another note, starting on E, this is called the Phrygian mode. This is a little darker than minor because a minor would have a whole step at the outset, but the Phrygian starts with a half step. Notice I'm using the same fingering, a group of three, a group of four, and if I want to continue, group of three, group of four, and finally ending on 5. So for the rest of these, I'll stay within the confines of one octave. Group of three, group of 5. And that's called the Phrygian mode. Let's review. Ionian, half step between 3 and 4, and 7 and 8. That's Ionian, which is synonymous to major. Going from D to D, I call this the Dorian mode. And it has a unique personality and mood to it. I don't want to describe it in my words, just listen to it and let it describe itself to you. Starting from E to E, here comes the Phrygian mode. It has a half step right at the beginning between the first and second note, and again between the fifth and sixth notes. So the placement of those half steps create the personality. Next, beginning on F and going on all white notes to the next F. This is called the Lydian mode. If you find the half steps here, it's between the 4th and 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, like major, a half step between 7 and 8. Okay, moving on now to G, we go to the Mixolydian mode. Half step between the third and fourth note. And if you remember from tonal theory, the sixth note of a major scale produces what we call the natural minor scale, or the relative minor. The relative minor is the sixth note of the major key signature. So A is the relative minor with C major. And in modes, this is called Aeolian. It has the half step between the second and third, and between the fifth and sixth. The last in the white notes is the Locrian mode. It starts on B. It has a half step in the beginning, like the Phrygian, and then it has another half step between the fourth and fifth notes. So you can use these as prototypes, and by following that pattern, you can realize the formula for all modes. Now you can begin to transpose them. So just to summarize, Ionian, half step between 3 and 4, 7 and 8. Dorian, half step between 2 and 3, and 6 and 7. Phrygian, half step between 1 and 2, and 5 and 6. Lydian, half step between 4 and 5, and 7 and 8. Mixolydian, half step between 3 and 4, and 6 and 7. Aeolian, half step between 2 and 3, and 5 and 6. Locrian, half step between 1 and 2, and 4 and 5. That's a good way to practice too, just go up the modes.